The Sharpshooter is the long-range sniper of the group, being able to deal death from a long range with a well-placed headshot. So let's take a look at the Sharpshooter starting gear and weapons. The Sharpshooter comes equipped with the Winchester 1894 lever-action rifle, the 9mm pistol, the Kukuri, and freeze grenades. The Winchester weighs 5 pounds and costs $200. The Winchester does 80 damage per shot and up to 200 damage per second. The Winchester provides very good damage and good damage per second, but with a slow reload it can cause problems in the early waves. Taking a look at the freeze grenades will do 25 damage on everything that they hit. They will also freeze all enemies near them, provided that the enemy is neither raging nor a boss, where it could take multiple grenades. The freeze grenades are extremely useful for keeping large things away from the team and making it easier to line up shots. They can also be used against large groups of small enemies that may be threatening you. As for the Kukuri and the 9mm, both of these weapons can be used to pretty good effect with the Sharpshooter. The 9mm pistol allows you a cheap alternative to deal with small enemies. The Kukuri is only really used when ammo becomes a problem. The first weapon that the Sharpshooter can afford is the 1858 revolver. The 1858 revolver weighs 2 pounds and costs $100. The 1858 revolver can do 60 damage per shot and 300 damage per second. Overall, I really like the 1858 revolver since it has been buffed recently, and I find it exceptionally useful with the Sharpshooter. The next weapon that the Sharpshooter can afford is the Spitfire. The Spitfire weighs 2 pounds and costs $325. It does 40 damage per shot, not counting fire damage, and 200 damage per second, again not counting fire damage. Overall, I find the Spitfire to be pretty useless with the Sharpshooter, as the bullet trajectory makes it very odd to line up headshots, as enemies can easily move out of the way of them, and it just seems all around worse than the 1858 revolver. So I would not recommend you take this weapon. Next up is the SPX Centerfire rifle. The Centerfire weighs 5 pounds and costs $650. The Centerfire can do 180 damage per shot and 450 damage per second. I really like the Centerfire, as I find it just a complete upgrade from the Winchester. It allows you to have a lot more damage on target, as well as this gun makes it very easy for people who aren't the best at aiming. You can usually go for body shots with most of the smaller and medium enemies and kill them in 1 or 2 shots. Up next is the Crossbow. The Crossbow weighs 6 pounds and costs $650. The Crossbow does 350 damage per bolt and can do 245 damage per second. The Crossbow provides you with extreme value, as you can go and retrieve bolts wherever they may land, so long as they do not land in an area where you cannot get to. I find the Crossbow to be very fun, although it is not always the best weapon for each circumstance, as you do have a very limited amount of bolts. The Crossbow also takes some getting used to, as you have to reload after each shot, and that can turn a lot of people off to this weapon. The next weapon in the Sharpshooter's arsenal is the 500 Magnum. The 500 Magnum weighs 3 pounds and costs $750. The 500 can do 160 damage per shot and up to 666 damage per second. Now, I really like the 500 Magnum, as it allows you a fast and effective way of dealing with pretty much any Zed. You can deal with small, medium, or large Zeds with it very quickly, so long as you're accurate. It does have the problem of only holding 5 shots and you needing to reload constantly, so crowds of enemies can be a problem to you, as well as large Zeds that may cause you problems if you don't hit headshots. The next weapon is the M14 EBR. The M14 weighs 7 pounds and costs $1,100. The M14 does 90 damage per shot and can do 408 damage per second. The M14 is great for picking off any small and medium enemies, as well as hammering away at the larger Zeds until they die. Overall, I really like the M14, as it allows you a great way of dealing with a lot of small enemies that most of the Sharpshooter weapons are lacking. And then the final weapon in the Sharpshooter's arsenal for the moment is the Railgun. The Railgun weighs 10 pounds and costs $1,500. The Railgun has 2 different modes that it can fire it: auto lock and manual aim. In its auto lock form, it can do 375 damage per shot and 188 damage per second. In its manual aim, it can do 750 damage per shot and 375 damage per second. I would definitely recommend switching to the manual aim in most circumstances, unless you've already hit a large enemy like a Scrake or a Flesh Pound in the head, and it did not go down and you want to do a fast follow-up shot that you know is going to hit them in the head. Then switching it to auto lock is a great way to do that. Alright, so let's look at the Sharpshooter's passive perks. The Sharpshooter gets bonus headshot damage 1% per level up to 25% max, bonus recoil reduction 1% per level up to 25% max, and weapon switch speed 2% per level up to 50%. And that's it. Sharpshooter gets the least amount of passive perks out of any class. Alright, now that we've looked at the Sharpshooter's weapons and starting gear, let's take a look at the Sharpshooter's builds and loadouts. The first build for the Sharpshooter is the Sniper build. At level 5 you'll take Sniper for the bonus damage. At level 10 you'll take Stability, as it allows you to have bonus damage, bonus movement speed when crouched, and bonus reload speed. At level 15 most people take Tactical Reload, as it allows you to reload your weapons much faster and can be seen as more of an advantage to rack them up with the damage boosting abilities at level 10 and 5. At 20 it's your choice between Deadeye or Always Prepared. I would recommend that everybody starts out using Deadeye, as you likely won't be able to make use of Always Prepared in the first couple rounds, and then switch to it if you're worried about running out of ammo. Otherwise, Deadeye will allow you to have more damage. And then at 25, you take Assassin, as it allows you to have even more damage during Z time. The Sniper build is best used on maps where you can easily secure a location and simply be on an elevated platform so that you can shoot more easily at targets' heads. The second build for Sharpshooter is the Marksman build. At level 5 you go Marksman for the bonus movement speed and rate of fire. At level 10 you go Ballistic Shock. At level 15 it's your choice between Rack 'em Up or Tactical Reload. Rack 'em Up can stack a lot of damage very quickly with weapons like the 500 Magnum or the M14, although Tactical Reload can be seen as a better option as it allows you to reload those weapons even faster. At level 20 once again it's your choice between Deadeye and Always Prepared, or starting out with Deadeye and switching to Always Prepared. And then at level 25 going Ranger. This will allow you to stun targets more easily. The Marksman build is better for people who like to run and gun accurately, similar to the Gunslinger, allowing you to move around the map a little bit faster than you normally would, fire a bit faster than you normally would, and still deal with larger enemies in a reasonable amount of time. And then the third build for Sharpshooter is the Hybrid build, and honestly the build I probably go with the most. Really, you can switch up the perks here however you want, as all the Sharpshooter perks are pretty good. Alright, so here is probably the 4 most common loadouts for the Sharpshooter at the moment. The first goes well with the Sniper build, using the Centerfire rifle as your main source of damage, and then the Railgun to deal with any large enemies like Flesh Pounds or Skrakes. This allows you to have good power, and even if you run out of rounds with your Railgun, the Centerfire still can make quick work of Flesh Pounds and Skrakes without any trouble. The second loadout goes with the M14, the Crossbow, and a Medic Pistol. The M14 to deal with pretty much any Z that's around you at the moment, the Crossbow to deal with larger enemies or to at least stun larger enemies like Skrakes and Flesh Pounds, and then the Medic Pistol just to have as utility and a backup weapon if you run out of ammo with your M14 and Crossbow. The third loadout goes with the M14, the Centerfire, and a 500. This will allow you to have the most amount of bullets that you can really hold with these weapons and still pose a threat to enemies, as the M14 is great for killing pretty much any of the small and medium Zeds, Centerfire is great for killing any of the medium or large Zeds, and 500 to be used as a backup weapon if you run out of ammo with both of those. And then the final common loadout for Sharpshooter is going with the Railgun, the 500, and the 1858 revolver. And since the 1858 revolver had just gotten buffed, I actually really like this build, as you can deal with pretty much all the small Zeds with the 500 Magnum and the 1858 revolver, and then just switch over to the Railgun to deal with any of the large Zeds. Alright, now that we've seen the builds and loadouts, let's go over some Sharpshooter tips. The first tip to Sharpshooter is try to conserve your ammo for larger Zeds. This mostly goes with the Railgun and the Crossbow, as both these have very limited ammo pools, and you may find yourself running out of ammo halfway through a round, which could cause problems. So try to conserve your ammo as best you can, leave smaller Zeds for other classes that are better suited to deal with them, like SWAT, Firebug, or Commando. The second Sharpshooter tip is use your freeze grenades on large Zeds and large groups of Zeds that are trying to swarm you. Using it on large Zeds can buy your team bonus time, as well as allow you to land multiple headshots in quick succession without any real trouble of the target moving around. And freezing large groups of Zeds can make it easier for your team to kill them without them being any threat to you or to the team. The third tip for Sharpshooter is try out off-perk weapons. Try the boomstick, the medic pistol, or something like the P90, just to see if that helps you out if you're struggling with things getting close to you, as the boomstick can easily take care of any small Zeds that get near you. The medic pistol can help out your team as well as deal with small Zeds fairly effectively, and the P90 allows you to have excellent crowd control, again dealing with a lot of small Zeds like crawlers, stalkers, anything that wants to come and bite at your heels. The fourth tip is you don't need to hit headshots on the smaller Zeds, as most of your weapons will one-shot them with a body shot. This mostly goes for weapons like the Centerfire. There's no real reason to line up headshots unless you're running Rack 'em Up, or if you just want to try to increase your accuracy for headshots. And then the fifth and final tip is try to make friends with other classes that can keep small enemies away from you. Try to make friends with a Firebug, a SWAT, a Commando, somebody that can keep all the smaller Zeds away from you so that you can deal with the medium Zeds and the larger Zeds like Skrakes and Flesh Pounds like you wanted. So overall, the Sharpshooter can probably be one of the best or the worst classes to have on your team. With a good Sharpshooter, Flesh Pounds and Skrakes pose little threat to your team, and with a bad Sharpshooter, they can easily get all the Skrakes and Flesh Pounds to easily come raging into your team and kill everybody. Overall, I really do like playing Sharpshooter though. It is a fun class. It does favor more accuracy when dealing with larger enemies, but it's not too difficult for people who haven't really played this game that much to pick up and go with it, as the Centerfire, the 500, the M14 are all extremely user-friendly weapons that deal with pretty much any enemy without any trouble, as well as your grenades really can't hurt you, so feel free to spam them all you want. So this was my Killing Floor Sharpshooter guide. Sorry if I sounded a little bit weird, I'm kind of sick at the moment, but I'll be getting over it soon. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys haven't already, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video with any friends or family that you think may enjoy this kind of video. And I hope to see all of you guys next time, where we take a look at the SWAT class. That should be a lot of fun. And on that note, if you guys have been having a good day, keep on having a good day. If you guys have been having a bad day, I hope this video made your day just a little bit better. I'll see you guys next time. Till then, stay cool, and bye.